Bum,
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 ba-da, bum,
bum,
bum.
bum.
Ring with
Lasers
lasers
are
and
for winners.
everything. Ooh, this is a very drowsy, very
Yeah.
foggy-headed version of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I am Marcus Grant with an incredibly sleepy Greg Bergman and a still in bed Parker Bell. But we are all basking in the amazingness that was last night, damn near this morning. The Dodgers winning game 3 of the World Series 6-5 in 18 innings on the walk-off home run by Freddie Freeman. Gentlemen, Greg, you and I were sort of talking about this. As exhausted as we were, it still took a while to actually come down and fall asleep. Parker, I don't even know, what time did you get home from Dodger Stadium?
It's probably best I don't say it. But let's just say that there was a 2 in it.
Oh,
jeez. Were you parked up top or were you parked down low with like the media?
Parked up top because actually, and if we have Clint on sometime this week as well, he can attest to it. They actually ran out of parking at the bottom and
wow.
sent certain people back into the stadium. I was like, well, I mean, not the worst thing.
So afterwards you had to wait through. How long did it take you to get out of the parking lot? Because that's where I believe like Mace, he was still in there past 1 o'clock.
Yeah. Clinton, Mace, they left immediately so that they could try to beat the traffic. I'm sure it didn't work. For me, I had a couple graphics to build out. So I just sat there in the stadium. You might be able to find me in one of Clint Pasillas' post-game shows. He goes, Parker, wave to the crowd. And I'm just like, hi. So I stayed there through the end and just kind of waited it out. And for me, traffic wasn't all that bad, but of course, much later.
He absolutely waited it out. Well, anyway, it was an incredible ball game on both the good and bad side. I mean, we could honestly probably do 2 shows on what happened last night,
Jesus.
but we'll do our best to try to break down game 3 of the World Series and get you ready for game 4, which hits in about 10 and a half hours, if I'm doing the math right, something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, but first, I want to give a shout out to LAX, folks at Los Angeles International Airport. As always, they are transforming the travel experience. They're saving guests time. I guess the countdown clock is ticking to hopefully when the People Mover train is up and going early next year. But if you want more information, you can go to flylax.com/transforminglax. So, guys, we talked about this briefly last night in our just overhyped, overtired stupor. But Greg, where should we start today?
Man,
now that we've had some time to chew on it.
Man, I don't even know. There's so many things. There was literally 2 games that were played in that, and then also those 2 games had 2 totally different feels to it. 1 through 9 was a regular baseball game. 10 through 18 was a feeling like a pitcher's duel that was never going to end. So it's really tough. But I think the best place to start is probably with Freddie Freeman. I mean, because that's what ended it. That was the big shot. Freddie was just everything that you wanted. He's now back-to-back World Series, not games, but World Series. He has a walk-off home run. I think that's ties him with someone else, like, because Muncy was going to tie somebody. I don't even know anymore. He has, I think I also saw that he has homered in 7 of the last 10 World Series games that he's been in, which is just an incredible thing. Is there anybody that you trust more in big moments like that than Freddie Freeman?
It's hard. It's hard to think of anybody at this point. And you mentioned it last night too, because he got the walk-off, but he just missed earlier in the game.
Missed a double too to left.
Well, if Dalton Varsho doesn't catch that ball on the run, the game's over right there.
Right.
Because you got Shohei on first with 2 outs. He's on the move with the crack of the bat. If Varsho doesn't catch that ball, we all go to bed maybe an hour earlier.
Yes.
So yeah, thanks for that, Dalton Varsho. Yeah, it just I'm sitting here because I'm trying to scroll. I'm sure it's somewhere about who he tied, but
it was
whatever.
Somebody named like Babe Linarius in 1938 or something.
But leading up to that, I mean, Parker, we talked about this last night too, and I guess it just bears repeating. Obviously, Freddie with the big blow, but none of that happens if Will Klein, the bullpen in general, but especially if Will Klein doesn't give them 4 scoreless innings, there's no chance for Freddie Freeman to hit that walk-off home run.
Correct. Whatever the Times or the news decides to put on the front page today, Will Klein better have some sort of section set out for him specifically. 72 pitches as, honestly, a dude who may have not even made this roster, and he didn't find out really until just last minute. Never did that before besides college. The last time he even pitched 3 innings was, I guess it was this year, but it was in the Pacific Coast League.
Right.
It's just a true underdog story, and there's always somebody in that World Series, and typically it comes at the bat, but there's always somebody who is the unsung hero. Will Klein was that man today. I mean, there were people who were sitting around us in the stands who were just like, who? And then at the end of the game, they're probably going to buy his jersey online because he's a folk hero now at this point. He will forever live in Dodgers history as somebody who got them to the 18th inning. I mean, Freddie is who Freddie is. Nobody's ever done that in their whole career. Hit a walk-off grand slam with their team down to the last out and hit a walk-off home run in the 18th inning. Regular season, postseason, doesn't matter. Freddie's the only one to do that. But Will Klein, the man that you are, I'm so happy that you got your moment. And hey, you might have just earned your spot on a roster moving forward, specifically because of one game in the postseason.
Yeah, Chad Moriyama of Dodgers Digest, I thought, put it best last night that regardless of whatever happens for the rest of Will Klein's career, that man should never pay for anything in Los Angeles again. Because absolutely just shoved at the most critical time. I mean, and look, we all saw it. You had Yamamoto warming up in the bullpen for the 19th inning, if it got that far, that he went to Mark Pryor and Dave Roberts and said, hey, look, if you guys need me, I can get myself ready to go. And I was getting ready to go for that one. So, but let's get back to the first 9 innings, the regulation portion of the ball game.
The regulation portion of our show. Nobody can speak.
Nobody can talk. We were trying to decide this before we came up for the show, Greg. Is what we saw in those first 9 innings, was it a story of good defense or bad base running? I mean, was it just amazing defensive plays, or was it just a series of toot blondes?
There was a ton of toot blondes that were going on, and it was also a weird, like, I understand aggression. I thought that there was Dino Ebel had a bad game sending guys around and moving guys around. That seemed like I think it was either the second or third inning. I think it was the second, maybe probably the third, because it was Freddie that was being sent home. But Freddie got sent home from second after he just stole a base, and he's not the most fleet of foot is the way we would put that. And you send him around. It was 2 outs. I know a lot of people understood it, but the fact was that you were getting Max Scherzer's pitch count way, 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 way up. And and if Freddie stops at third, and then Max Muncy comes up, you have the lefty righty matchup, the righty lefty matchup that you're looking for. He's very patient at the plate. That could have just kind of busted the whole thing open. And so I thought Freddie Freeman getting sent on that was a toot blonde, because it didn't. You could have changed how far Max Scherzer went at that time. Now, he didn't go very much longer after that, so none of that actually matters. And there's a whole bunch of things that didn't matter anymore. That's why it's hard to talk about those first 9 innings if we're not talking about Shohei. But there was a lot of weird things that went on and it was both sides. I mean, there was both sides that made mistakes, made little errors that cost them runs. I think there was some other larger, costly ones for the Blue Jays, though.
Couple things. One, until you said his name, I legitimately forgot that Max Scherzer had started that game for the Blue Jays. It happened so long ago that I completely forgot. The other part, you talk about some bad ones for the Blue Jays. At one point we thought the Dalton Varsho Bo Bichette toot blonde
Yeah, that was terrible.
I mean, it was terrible. We thought it was going to be consequential, right? Like, if this is a close ball game, are the Blue Jays going to be heated about that? And, obviously it was a 1-run game, but it was so far in the past by the time it ended that it was hard to sort of pin that on anything. I mean, you have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa getting hosed at third base on a great throw by Tommy Edman. You have Davis Schneider, who looks like he's permanently incognito with that mustache, getting just hosed down at the plate.
He's typical John Doe figure.
He really is. I mean, like he's hiding from the mob or something.
By the way, that Tommy Edman played to get him to throw out Isaiah Kiner-Falefa at third. Mm-hmm. That was a makeup for him off of letting a ball go right under his gloves.
Yeah. Parker, if who knows how the game plays out, right? But if Tommy Edman makes that play, because the reason I believe he didn't is because he was trying to set up and start a double play. He looked like he was ready to turn and throw to second base. If he makes that play, then there's nobody on, and there's 2 outs. And that 4-run inning probably doesn't happen. And maybe, Parker, the Dodgers win this thing in 9 innings.
Yeah. In hindsight, we had plenty of conversations in our chat there. And I know Jeff, if he's awake, I'm sure maybe.
Sleep, Jeff.
Please don't be awake, Jeff.
Yes, get your rest. But yeah, we were having that conversation of it was tough to see if the reason he made that error was because he was trying to line up to go to second, and I think that was the case. But I know that Jeff was thinking that he never thought there was a chance. It is an interesting play, but the fact is, Marcus, you made it. You said it perfectly. He made up for it with plenty of plays. The perfect relay from Teoscar. Yes, the heads up deflection off of Freddie's glove, and still have the wherewithal to throw it to third. I mean, Tommy, brilliant defensive game. I think this was his tale of 2 games. This was a kind of poorly defended game on many aspects. And then you had a second half where the bullpen journeyman Will Klein and the defense actually really stepped up. So it was fun to be there live because you could just see the dynamic of like, oh, wow. I mean, Mookie also had, I think, that mistake where he
bounced the ball.
Bounced the ball,
bounced the ball. And that was like his one mistake really all postseason. He's been so golden, pun intended. And it was interesting to see everybody go like, oof, it's okay, Mookie. But yeah, tremendous energy. And I think that it's a tale of 2 games. And I could barely even talk about it because it's like, I mean, I forgot what happened in like the second through 4th inning.
Yeah, and none of it really matters either, right? Like what happened in the first 9 doesn't matter. And it's crazy to say that because Shohei Ohtani had one of the greatest games in the history of baseball again, and because he only walked every time he got to I think 5 times he walked in extra innings.
Yeah,
like it's insane to me. Actually, it was including the 9th inning, I guess, but he walked the next 5 times.
Should have been 6 because do you think, Marcus, it was a mistake for the Blue Jays to even pitch to him in the 7th when he had the game-tying home run?
I mean, probably, but I understand it. You've got a 1-run lead. You have a 1-run lead, and there's nobody on. You take your chance, even against the guy like Shohei. So I mean, maybe this is me speaking with my Dodger bias, but I understood it. I thought, it made sense. But, Greg, you sent us a tweet this morning.
So disappointing to hear
from Jesse Rogers saying that, John Schneider says that, intentional walks will continue until morale improves. They're just going to keep putting Shohei on base.
Shohei Bonds.
Which, to me, the first thing I thought of, and because I thought about this last night too, it feels like the tush push. It's within the rules. It's a strategy. I understand it. It makes sense. And I say this not just as a Dodger fan, but as a baseball fan. It's not fun to watch. It's borderline unsporting.
They're going to walk him 4, possibly 5 times again with an intentional walk. I mean, you obviously got to get guys on the base behind him, but it's just so very, very disappointing.
It's
it's an entertainment product.
It is an entertainment product, right? Like it's just
Graham made
watching.
I gotta give Graham a shout out though. He said and texted me literally at the corner. It popped up, but at least the Eagles win with the push tush.
Yeah,
You're right, Greg.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That is
That's
absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what was
so-
also kind of crazy, and just a quick
Yeah.
aside, is that we talked about this a little last night, Marcus, before Parker and Mason caught on there, is that the Blue Jays made a lot of changes in game to their lineup.
Mhm.
First of all, there's the Springer thing that is just going to be pretty devastating for them because whoever's at the top of that lineup it's a totally different lineup.
Yeah.
But after Alejandro Kirk was left, you weren't afraid of anybody in that lineup. It kind of felt like the Brewers again, where you just weren't afraid of anybody but Vladimir Guerrero because they kept taking everybody out, and you went all the defense and you took out all their offense. That you're looking at like in the extra innings, it never really felt out of control because it's just like, okay, just don't get the Vladdy and we should be just fine.
Well, and even I think that is what allowed Dave Roberts to stay with Will Klein as long as he did, just because you never had that feeling of, okay, well, one of these guys that they can put together 3-4 hits in a row. You just never had that feeling. And also the time, one of those times that was maybe it was the 18th, the top of the 18th, where Klein, had gotten the first out and Vladdy came to the plate. And he just pitched around him basically.
Yeah.
He walked him, and I don't think anybody felt bad about it. It's like, well, I'm gonna, if he chases, great. If not, we'll put him on, and we trust that the guys behind him aren't gonna make anything happen. And that gamble absolutely paid off for them. But on the flip side, if the Blue Jays are going to continue to walk Shohei, Mookie Betts has to do something at the plate. There's no way around it. He has turned back up into the pop-up machine. I don't know if we can get JD Martinez on the phone or on a Zoom, get him on a Zoom or something like that.
Pop up Mookie again
to talk to Mookie. I mean, when they chatted before during that series in Boston, it turned Mookie around for a little bit, but the pop-ups have come back. So I don't know if we can get JD back on the horn to talk to him, because he's going to have plenty of opportunities. Last night, the 1 for 8, but just plenty of chances to either make it hurt or even end the game, and just couldn't do it. So he's going to have to step up offensively at this point.
See if JD can talk to Pages as well, because pop-up Pages was in total effect as well. But the thing is, there's no other performance out. There's just no other performance from Pages. So I mean, there's that as well. But it's one thing with Mookie to be not hitting, but at least he is performing on the defensive end. And I did also want to give Mookie a big shout out and big congratulations for the Roberto Clemente Award.
Absolutely.
It was great to see the post conference live, just to see Manfred and talk. Manfred, but to see him talk about Mookie's impact in the games. Mookie and his wife and his team just surrounding him, his parents. It was really cool to see, because I know Lawrence Butler as well. Shout out to the A's, was a nominee, and he was there, and he asked a question to Mookie, and Mookie gave the young man some advice. So Mookie already instilling how to be a Roberto Clemente Award winner to the youth. It was great to see.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, we could go on forever about all the things that happened last night, but the last few minutes, want to spin it ahead to tonight, because they are playing Game 4 in just a handful of hours. It'll be Shohei Ohtani going against Shane Bieber.
Bieber was at the stadium, by the way.
Justin Bieber
was at the stadium.
By the way, it's funny because they do the shots of the celebrities in the crowd or whatever, and they show Jason Bateman and Mary Hart and whatever, and then they show Justin Bieber, and my eyes were like, "Is that Gary Sheffield sitting next to him?" And they just never acknowledged it, right? So whatever. I obviously, I think the winner of this game tonight is the team that gets to the other team's bullpen first. If Shohei, now granted, look, I don't think we expect Shohei to go past 6 innings, maybe 7 if he's absolutely dealing. But if the Dodgers can get to the Jays bullpen first, they've got a decided advantage there. I did see in the chat, I think it was Roy Estrada, and curious about your thoughts on this, Greg. Would you start Ben Rortvedt just to give Will Smith a couple innings off after catching all 18?
I think you have to. Not. I know Will go out there and he'll play. Like he just will because he's a gamer, and I think he's probably going to. But I think Rortvedt starting this game is not the worst idea in the world. I think Shohei's going to call his own game anyway. But you need the runs. You need the bat. So it's tough. I mean, I think I probably would because you're doing a day game after a night game essentially after you played 2 games.
Yeah.
So it's a really fast turnaround. Beyond how he was on his knees, like bent at the knees for 18 innings. Yeah. Alejandro Kirk got out somewhere around like the 12th inning, so he has a little bit of extra time. Smith was there the entire time. I think you might have to start Rortvedt for a little bit, and that's scary.
Yeah, it also really softens the bottom of the lineup because ideally, if that happens, you're putting Rortvedt in the 9 spot. That moves Pajes up to 8. So that really softens the bottom part of your lineup. I guess on the flip side, though, Parker, if Will Smith comes back in later, you got Will Smith hitting in the 9 spot, which maybe isn't the worst thing in the world.
Somebody that can get on base.
Yeah, but furthermore on the topic of, quickly of like just being tired in general, on the other end, who will be pitching to either Will or whoever is on the catching position, Shohei. This is by no means a negative take, but the wear and tear did start to show yesterday. He cramped up. He did have a couple base running, mishaps, and it happens when you're exerting yourself as much as he is. He reached base 9 times for a record-setting 9 times. It's going to be an interesting. I know, Marcus, you said, we probably don't expect to see him get to 6 or past 6. That is, this guy's putting everything on the line. I think if anybody can do it, it is Shohei. But yeah, that is a conversation to have there in terms of, these guys are going to be tired.
Both sides are going to be exhausted.
And does George Springer play? That's another.
Last I saw, he is going for an MRI.
That's an oblique, man.
That suggests he's done for the series. I can't imagine him coming back. That's a tough blow for the Blue Jays because whoever they put at the top, I don't know if they start Ty France at the top of the lineup or what they do, but there's just not that fear factor where Springer at any moment can flip the game with just one swing.
We're from France.
They lose that, without George Springer in the ball game. So
I don't root for injury to anybody. But I mean,
yeah.
It wasn't. We didn't do anything. He hurt himself.
He did it to himself.
He did it all to himself.
Yes.
I wasn't rooting for it, but it happened.
Dodger Stadium let out a little bit of something, and you hope that it's nothing that's like career impending.
It's an oblique. I mean, he'll get the off season to rest it and recover, and he'll be back next year.
Just go away. Go away.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to find any Dodger fan sympathy for George Springer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and bemoan the fact that he's
at this point
not playing.
Anyway, game 4 of the series tonight. I believe it's technically a 5:10 first pitch time for this one. It'll be Shohei Ohtani going against Shane Bieber. Hopefully everybody is rested and caffeinated and whatever. We will be back with you after the game to wrap it up. Hopefully, fingers crossed, at a much more reasonable time than we were
9 innings.
Let's hope for 9 innings. Let's hope for a Dodger win. And we'll be here to talk about it, of course, when it is all said and done. Stick around, though, of course, for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Thanks to Graham for getting us up and on this morning. Thanks to everybody in the chat for being here bright and early after a long night last night. But that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. So for Parker Bell, for Greg Bergman, I am Marcus Grant. We will see you tonight here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Go Dodgers. We'll see you then.
See ya.
I'm going back to bed.